You push for Australian seniors to help ease the regional worker shortage by encouraging them to take up fruit picking. Farmers are calling on the government to deliver income tax cuts to pensioners to attract them to not just pick fruit but also work on farms and do other jobs as well. And joining us live out of Canberra now is the President of the National Farmers Federation, Fiona Simpson. Fiona, good morning to you. So we're talking about the grey nomads here, trying to get them into the regions to work. So what jobs can they do? What do you hope they can do?
Yeah, look, there's a range of jobs that they can do on farms, Pete. And, you know, farmers often host grey nomads on their farms now, and they're often willing to help in whether it's picking fruit, as you said, or whether it's, you know, some more general sort of duties, maybe a bit of slashing, maybe some planting, maybe some packing of some of the stuff that they've picked. So there's a range of things that they can do on farms, but the biggest handbrake is that once they work probably more than about a day a week, they suddenly get this really punitive tax rate come in where every dollar that they earn is actually taxed at 50 cents in the dollar, and they also get their pension gets taxed as well, and they start losing that pension. So that's the handbrake here. It's not so much the jobs and the availability of workers. In fact, it's not at all the jobs and the availability of workers. It's this punitive tax handbrake and the way that we treat pensioners if they want to keep doing a bit of work to supplement their pension.
Just back on the work, I mean, it's not easy picking fruit, and you're in hot. It can be often, the climate can be very hot. Is there a health risk in having older people doing that kind of back-breaking work, if I can put it that way?
Well, some of it is backbreaking, but some of it is not. So fruit has to be sorted, for example, and it has to be, you know, packed, and it has to be cleaned quite often, and it has to be, you know, the crates have to be put together. There's a whole range of different things that you have to do. I mean, yes, some of it is very, very physical, and it saves people driving, you know, buying a gym membership, Pete. But it's actually, some of it is not at all like that. And there's a whole range of different activities, whether it's picking fruit, but as I said, also, there's other jobs too, like on livestock farms where, you know, some of the work is really just, you know, taking mobs of animals or just following mobs of animals around the farm, just, you know, helping around, doing general work around the farm. There's always jobs to be done on farms. There's lots of grey nomads and older Australians who are travelling around Australia now who are willing to help, but it's just that the way we tax them is actually quite punitive with this 50-cent hit for every dollar that they earn over quite a low threshold.
So Peter Dutton has already made moves on this space. He wants the Australians to be able, or pensioners to be able to earn double what they currently can before they start getting hit by tax. Is that enough?
Well, look, we're not setting a limit at this point. We'd like to see the income test removed altogether, to be quite honest, if it was up to us. We think that these are people who have paid tax all their lives. They're now receiving often quite a low amount in terms of pension. The assets test and everything else still stays, but it just means that if they work, they're taxed like every other Australian, as opposed to being taxed at this highest level. So, you know, I think this is going to be, you know, this was a motion that was put to the House yesterday by member for Mayo, Rebecca Sharkey. So if it's going to have legs, then it does need to become a government idea and a government resolution and a government piece of legislation. And I think, you know, this is a good idea. This is a good common sense idea. We have a shortage of workers. We have a whole, you know, over 2 million people in Australia that are older Australians receiving some sort of a pension. And we know that in countries like New Zealand and Japan and Korea, you know, there's 35% of their workforce over 65 working, whereas in Australia we're right back to around about 3%. So there's something we can do here. This is a good common sense idea. I mean, I think if, you know, you know, we're open to anything really, but I think we need to have a good broad conversation about this. If we have people who want to work and it's just that the way that we tax them is stopping them from doing that.
It's interesting. It's an interesting idea. Fiona Simpson, thanks for your time this morning and talking about it. We'll see how that goes.